As the old expression goes, choose your friends wisely. And the story behind this particular case is exactly why. Christine Paolilla was once the high school joke before she became Miss Irresistible. With the help of Tiffany, Rowell, and Koloroutis, Christine's whole high school experience changed in the blink of an eye. Little did Tiffany and Rachel know that the tables would turn on them for the worse. Christine Paolilla started off her high school experience in a way most of us fear. She was frequently mocked, tormented, and bullied by her fellow students. However, all this changed when she was suddenly befriended by two of the most popular students, Tiffany Rowell and Koloroutis. After just a short period of being friends with the popular group, Christine went from being a nobody to being known as Miss Irresistible. This was before everything took a nasty turn. For us to get the full picture of Christine's story, let's take a step back into what and who led her to commit these unthinkable acts. On March 31st, 1986, Charles and Lori Paolilla gave birth to a healthy baby girl. They decided to name her Christine. By this time, Christine's mother, Lori, was a stay-at-home mom, while her father worked in construction. Christine only had one other sibling, which was her older brother. When Christine was only 2 years old, her father sadly passed away in a work accident. The passing of Charles Paolilla greatly affected Christine's mother, up to the point where she eventually started to bury her emotions in drug addictions. Lori's addiction became so severe that she lost her custody of both kids to her own parents, which means that not long after her father's passing, Christine was also taken away from her mother and was sent to live with her grandmother. Christine had a tough childhood. In kindergarten, she was diagnosed with alopecia, which would cause her to lose her hair, eyebrows, and eyelashes. To avoid humiliation, Christine was compelled to wear wigs to keep anyone from noticing her hair loss. In addition to that, she also started wearing big and heavy glasses because of her weak vision. At such a young age, her self-esteem was ruined when her classmates continuously made fun of her and picked on her in front of the rest of her classmates and whole school. During the course of a few years, Lori managed to get clean of her drug addiction and also remarried into a marriage where she was finally happy again. This allowed Lori to gain custody of Christine. The family decided to relocate to Clear Lake City, Texas, a Houston suburb, where Christine enrolled in Clear Lake High School. Christine was shy and did not interact much with any of the students. She was always silent and kept to herself. In a single day, Christine's whole life changed when she was approached and befriended by two of the most popular girls in school, Tiffany Rowell and Koloroutis. These two girls eventually helped and changed Christine's entire appearance and enhanced her looks. They even taught her how to act and how to communicate with her fellow schoolmates. Christine went from being the girl that was humiliated, mocked, and bullied to being admired, praised, and wanted by many of her male schoolmates. Christine's popularity grew so wide that she was even crowned Miss Irresistible by the students in 2003. In the same year, Christine met Christopher Lee Snyder, a 21-year-old musician. However, not everyone was very supportive of Christine's decision of seeing Christopher. This was mainly because of his active drug use and criminal past. During the first year of their relationship, there were some suspicions that Christopher was providing Christine with a variety of narcotics. Eventually, he ended up separating her from her family members and friends. The relationship was very volatile. On numerous occasions, Christopher would emotionally abuse her. In one instance, he even showed up at school and pulled her wig off to embarrass her in front of her classmates. But Christine suffered from low self-esteem and craved his attention. According to Christopher's relatives, Christine would often become very jealous when he spoke to other girls. They gave some testimony saying that sometimes, after Christine and Christopher had an argument, Christine would sleep on Chris's front lawn until he decided to allow her inside. On other occasions, she would try to break into the house. Christine and Chris's drug habit became so frequent and expensive that they ended up in desperate need of money. Chris suggested that they rob Rachel and Tiffany. Clearly, he had some sort of control or hold on Christine as she went against her friends and agreed to it. On July 18, 2003, Christine and Chris decided to visit Tiffany Rowell. Upon arrival, there were 4 people: Tiffany, Rachel, and 2 other guys, one of whom was Rachel's boyfriend, and the other was her boyfriend's cousin. When Christine was giving a statement, she admitted that she and Chris just wanted to steal the drugs held inside the residence. However, Chris got into a heated argument with one of the guys, and things heavily escalated from there. Within a split second, all 4 of them became victims of a horrendous shootout. Tiffany and her boyfriend Marcus were found executed on the couch. It literally looked as if they were shot while they sat there watching TV. His cousin was found deceased on the floor with gunshots to the head. Rachel's murder was described to have been more violent. She was shot twice, but she survived, and at some point, Rachel was trying to dial 911. Christine attacked her and repeatedly bashed her head with a blunt object. What was strange about Rachel's execution was that most of the bullets appeared to be shot at her groin region and was described as overkill. Christine and Christopher tried to clear up as much of the evidence as they could. Because of this, the police were led to believe that the homicides were drug-related, especially after the rumors that both Rachel and Tiffany were pulling waitressing shifts at a local strip club, and that Tiffany's boyfriend was said to have been selling narcotics from his residence. The other guy had just moved to Clear Lake to escape the violence in Chicago and wanted to turn his life around. Unfortunately, things didn't work out for him as he hoped. As they were investigating, the police only managed to get a description of the 2 from the neighbors, who claimed that they saw a male and female dressed in black walking around the front of the house as if nothing happened. Using the neighbors' descriptions, the Houston Police Department forensic sketch artist created composite sketches of the suspects as they were described. After the murders, the 2 broke off their relationship in 2004 after Christopher got arrested in Kentucky for auto theft. Christine was checked into a rehab center in Kerrville, Texas. It did not take long for her to encounter Stanley Justin Rod, who also turned out to be a drug addict. It was a match made in heaven. The relationship between the 2 started in March 2005 before the pair tied the knot. Around that period, Christine inherited about $360,000 from her deceased father. The 2 broke out of rehab and bought a condo together with Christine's inheritance. In July of 2005, Christine saw a report about the unsolved case of the murders. After looking at the sketches of the suspects that the neighbors gave, she immediately became agitated. She confessed to her then husband that she was involved in the murders. After that, they ended up leaving the condo and moved into a nasty motel room in San Antonio. The pair hid for 8 months in the room, doing nothing but injecting themselves with heroin and doing cocaine. However, on July 6, 2006, the police received an anonymous tip about the unsolved case. The male caller claimed that he knew who the killer was and that she told him about the murder she committed during their time together in rehab, and he gave up the name Christine Paolilla. On July 19, 2006, the police managed to track her down through her ATM activity, and within 2 days, she was arrested. Where did they find her? In a motel room with her new husband, Justin. Their living situation was an absolute mess. Her spouse was also incarcerated after they found 70 bottles of heroin in the couple's room. However, her spouse told the police everything. At the beginning, Christine denied the murders, but she later admitted that she took part in the killings. She blamed everything on her ex-boyfriend Chris, who was of course nowhere to be found. The 2 were charged with capital murder on July 21, 2006, and since Christine was deemed a flight risk, her bail came to an insane $500,000. After Christine's arrest, one of Chris's family members called to warn him that there was a warrant for his arrest in connection to the murders. Eventually, the police headed over to Greenville after receiving a tip that Chris was last seen there. Upon searching in the area where he was last seen, the police found his decaying body, which was hidden in a thickly wooded region. Chris had passed away on an overdose of prescription drugs. With that, Christine was found guilty of 4 charges of capital murder on October 13, 2008. If it wasn't for Christine being a minor at the time, she would have received the death penalty. Despite that, she was condemned to life imprisonment. She will be eligible for release in 2046. She will be 60 years old. What are your thoughts on this case?